Election campaign heats up in the poll-bound Assam and West Bengal. Various political leaders to address public meetings and rallies today. The Election Commission writes to chief secretaries and the chief electoral officers of the poll-bound states regarding the equitable opportunity to have access to advertisement spaces. The BJP Central Election Committee holds meeting in Delhi. Another list of candidates for the 5 assembly elections likely to come out today. The party has already issued a list of 60 candidates for West Bengal. The Congress releases list of 21 candidates for Tamil Nadu assembly elections. NIA arrests Mumbai Police Crime Branch API Sachin Vajay for his role and involvement in the placing explosives-laden vehicle near Carmichael Road in Mumbai. The incident happened on 25th of February this year. President Nath Kovind on a 3-day visit to Uttar Pradesh. The president to attend the Varanasi Samagam at Sonabhadra today. Today is the last date of registration for 4th edition of Prime Minister's Interactive Academic Program, Pariksha Pe Charcha. This year's Pariksha Pe Charcha will be held virtually. India's COVID-19 vaccination drive continues at a high pace. More than 2.9 crore vaccine doses administered till day 57. In sports news, the second T20 international between India and England to take place in Ahmedabad today. England is leading the 5-match series 1-0. Hello and good morning. You're watching DD India with me, Nancy Kohli. A top story: the election campaign heats up in poll-bound Assam and West Bengal, and various political leaders are to attend public meetings and rallies today. The Election Commission has written to chief secretaries and the chief electoral officers of Assam, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal and Puducherry regarding equitable opportunity for access to election-related advertisement space. The poll panel has said in its letter that it has been brought to its notice that in some places advertisement space is being monopolized by some political parties. The Commission said it should be ensured that any such place is not dominated or monopolized by any particular party or candidate. All the parties and candidates should be provided equal opportunity in this regard. The letter said the district election officer should ensure that all the political parties and the candidates get equitable opportunity to have access to election-related advertisement space during the election period. And in poll-bound Assam, campaigning is gaining momentum as ruling BJP has launched a star-studded campaign. Senior leader and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and the Union Home Minister Amit Shah will address several rallies today in Upper Assam. Amit Shah will address rallies at Margarita and Nazira. Now, yesterday, Union Minister Smriti Irani addressed 3 rallies and urged people to vote for NDA for continuous development of the state. Even today, the Union Minister for Women and Child Development and the Textiles Minister Smriti Irani will address various rallies. Now, senior Congress leaders Jitendra Singh, Ripun Bora, Gaurav Gogoi are also campaigning for their party candidates. Senior party leader and Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel will visit Dibrugarh today. Now, other parties including the AIUDF, the Asham Gana Parishad, the BPF, the Assam Jatiya Parishad, Rai Jor Dal and left parties are also holding election rallies today. Now, the BJP Central Election Committee held meeting on Saturday in New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi and other senior BJP leaders attended the meeting at the party headquarters to finalize for the upcoming assembly elections. Besides the Prime Minister, Home Minister, the Defence Minister and the BJP chief JP Nadda were also present, along with the top leaders from respective states. Now, the BJP is likely to announce the candidates for the upcoming assembly elections in 5 states today. The party has already issued a list of 60 candidates for West Bengal. While after the BJP CEC meeting, the National General Secretary of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Kailash Vijaywargiya, said that the Central Election Committee meeting held at the BJP headquarters discussed the seat allocation for 3rd and the 4th phases of the West Bengal Assembly elections. He also reaffirmed claim that the party will win all the 200 seats it had targeted. Vijaywargiya also took a jibe at the TMC leader and the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. He said Mamata Banerjee will now accuse not only the BJP but also the Election Commission and her own Chief Secretary for the 10th of March attack on her.
ममता जी अब एक व्यक्ति पे आरोप लगा रही है, वो चुनाव आयोग पे भी आरोप लगाएगी, अब ऑब्जर्वर पे भी आरोप लगाएगी, अब अपने चीफ सेक्रेटरी के ऊपर भी आरोप लगाएगी, क्योंकि उन्होंने भी जो रिपोर्ट भेजी है उन्होंने कहा कि एक्सीडेंट है, कि किसी प्रकार की कोई किसी व्यक्ति के द्वारा किया गया कार्य नहीं है। तो अब देखते हैं ममता जी का स्टैंड क्या होता है, क्योंकि पहले तो उन्होंने कह दिया था कि कुछ लोग आए धक्का देके चले गए जिससे मेरे पैर में चोट आ गई, और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की ओर उनकी नज़र थी। पर मीडिया के लोगों को धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं कि उन्होंने बेनकाब किया पूरा चित्र।
While the election momentum in the 4 states and union territories saw the DMK come out with its 500 promises-filled manifesto. In Kerala, the Congress-led UDF is still struggling with the infighting which has prevented it from coming out with its list of candidates. Here are all the assembly election updates in this report. Take a look.
Dravid Munetra Kadagam, DMK, on Saturday released its manifesto ahead of the Tamil Nadu Assembly elections. 500 promises are made in the manifesto. Some of them are creation of a new cyber police station, special courts to be set up to hear corruption cases, all noon meal employees to be made government employees, setting up a welfare board for media personnel, no increase in property tax, 10,000 crore rupees water body preservation project, fast-tracking probe into the death of former Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha, a special committee to work on making Chennai flood-proof, a separate budget for agriculture, a separate ministry to implement the party's poll promises.
Always the election manifesto of DMK has happened to be the hero of the elections, and in this time also it will be, and he has given all the assurances and promises which have to be addressed immediately.
The fate of the candidates in the assembly polls will be decided on April 6th, and this is the first time that DMK and AIADMK are going for elections after decades without Karunanidhi and Jayalalitha. AIADMK coordinator and Chief Minister Edappadi K. Palaniswamy also held a press conference where he claimed that his party will win the elections with absolute majority in Tamil Nadu. In Kerala, the main fight is between LDF and UDF for the 140 assembly seats. LDF-led alliance has announced their candidates, while the list of UDF, headed by Congress, has not been released so far. Infighting is brewing in Congress in the state, where veteran state leader PC Chako resigned from the party. Meanwhile, supporters of former Chief Minister Oman Chandi staged a protest over the change of constituency. His supporters demanded to field Oman Chandi from his home assembly constituency, Puthupalli. Campaigning is gathering momentum in the northeastern state of Assam. Voting is to be conducted in 3 phases for the 126 assembly seats in the state. In Jorhat, BJP leader Smriti Irani addressed the public meeting and appealed to people to vote for BJP.
कांग्रेस पार्टी ने वर्षों वर्ष सत्ता में रहकर फूट डालने की राजनीति की। आज सरेआम आपसे प्रश्न पूछती हूं कि जब नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार ने 10 करोड़ गरीब परिवारों के लिए शौचालय बनाया, तब क्या किसी गरीब से उसका धर्म, उसकी जात पूछी गई? बैंकों ने जब कहा कि गरीब के पास खाता खोलने के लिए जेब में पैसा नहीं है, तो मोदी ने कहा मुफ्त में गरीब का बैंक का खाता खोलो, लेकिन खोलना पड़ेगा.
Voting will begin on 27th of March and the results will be announced on May 2nd. With Philip Matthew from Tamil Nadu, Bureau Report, DD India.
And let's now move on, get you some more elections from the states, particularly from West Bengal. Here's the report.
Former Union Minister Yashwant Sinha on Saturday joined the Trinamool Congress days ahead of the high-octane West Bengal Assembly polls. Sinha, a senior BJP leader during Atal Bihari Vajpayee rule, said that the main contest in the elections will be between TMC and the BJP. Meanwhile, BJP has taken a jibe at the TMC. The state president Dilip Ghosh has said that there is no star campaigner left in the TMC and the party has started disintegrating, and CM Mamta is trying to garner sympathy votes. Congress is forced to go on an overdrive to defend non-inclusion of any of the G23 names in the star campaigners list.
And moving on now to some other news and in fact getting you more updates. Prime Minister Modi has spoken over the phone with the Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapakse. Both the leaders reviewed the topical developments and the ongoing cooperation between both the countries in bilateral and multilateral fora. They also agreed to maintain regular contact between relevant officials, including in the context of the continuing COVID-19 challenges. The Prime Minister reiterated the importance of Sri Lanka to India's neighbourhood first policy. And moving on now, the NIA has arrested the Mumbai Police Crime Branch API Sachin Vajay for his role and involvement in the placing explosives-laden vehicle near Carmichael Road in Mumbai. While the incident took place on 25th of February this year, and he's been charged under Section 286, 465, 473, 506, 120B of the IPC and 4 Explosive Substances Act 1908. Now, President Nath Kovind is on a 3-day visit to Uttar Pradesh. The president reached Varanasi Saturday afternoon. President Kovind, along with his family, for the first time attended the Ganga Aarti at the Shashwamedh Ghat in Varanasi on Saturday. The Uttar Pradesh Governor Anandiben Patel and Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath were also present with the President during the Aarti. President Kovind also offered praise to Baba Kashi Vishwanath in Varanasi. 9 priests of Archaks performed the famous Aarti, during which 18 girls were present as Riddhi Siddhi. Special arrangements were also made by the authorities on the occasion, and today the President will visit Chapki in Sonbhadra district, where he will grace the Vanvasi Samagam. The President will also inaugurate the newly constructed building of the Seva Kunj Ashram. On Monday, the President will grace the inaugural session of the Jagran Forum on the issues of Ganga, environment and the culture of India. The event is being organized by a Varanasi newspaper. And moving on now, today is the last day of registration for Prime Minister's interactive academic program Pariksha Pe Charcha. This year's Pariksha Pe Charcha is the 4th edition and will be held virtually. Pariksha Pe Charcha is part of the larger movement, the Exam Warriors, led by Prime Minister Modi, to create a stress-free atmosphere for youngsters. Students can register for it through the official site of MyGov on innovateindia.mygov.in. And this time, the Prime Minister's massively popular interaction will not only have the students but also parents and teachers. And to get a chance to participate, the students, teachers or parents can participate in Pariksha Pe Charcha competition hosted by the MyGov Innovate platform. The competition is open for school students of classes 9th to 12th, and each winner will get a specially designed certificate of appreciation. A small group of students from among the winners will get the opportunity to directly interact with the Prime Minister and ask him questions. Now, each of these special winners will also get a digital souvenir of their autographed photograph along with the Prime Minister. Prime Minister's massively popular interaction with students to reduce the exam stress, Pariksha Pe Charcha, is around the corner, and those students who participated in this interactive program earlier can share their experience with pride. Now, for the students of Jabalpur who interacted with the Prime Minister through this program last year, it was a memorable experience. They say this interaction was very beneficial for them.
मुझे भी ये मौका पिछले साल मिला था। मैं बहुत ही ज़्यादा खुश हुई थी और वहाँ जाके मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा जब मैंने प्राइम मिनिस्टर को सामने से देखा, उनकी बातें सुनी। उनने अपने खुद के लाइव एग्जांपल्स दिए जो उनके साथ हुआ है और ऐसे बच्चों को उनने इंस्पायर किया, मोटिवेट किया। मुझे बहुत ही ज़्यादा अच्छा लगा। सर ने जैसा कि बताया था कि अपन को पढ़ाई पे फोकस करना चाहिए और जैसे कि अपन मार्क्स के पीछे भागते हैं तो मार्क्स के पीछे भागने में कुछ नहीं है, अपन को पढ़ाई पे फोकस करना है और फिर मार्क्स तो खुद ब खुद ही आ जाएंगे। ऐसी उन्होंने बहुत सारी चीज़ें बताई जिनका मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा बेनिफिट हुआ मेरी लाइफ में और अभी 1 साल में मैंने इन सारी चीज़ों को अप्लाई किया और उससे मुझे बहुत बेनिफिट हुआ है।
मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, मैंने इस कंपटीशन में पार्ट किया, मुझे बहुत लोगों से मिलने का मौका मिला और सबसे मेनली मैंने प्राइम मिनिस्टर, अपने इंडिया के प्राइम मिनिस्टर से मिली। मुझे बहुत अच्छा और अपने अंदर एक प्राउड फीलिंग आई। मैं वहाँ गई, मैं जो नर्वस होती थी एग्ज़ाम्स देने के टाइम पे, मुझे जब भी मैं एग्ज़ाम लिखती थी मुझे बहुत नर्वस फीलिंग आती थी कि मैं कैसे लिखूँ, क्या करूँ। जब मैं प्राइम मिनिस्टर से मिली तो मुझे एक कॉन्फिडेंट आया कि जो उन्होंने मुझे बातें बताई थी एग्ज़ाम्स को लेकर वो मैंने अपनी लाइफ में उसको अपनाया। तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा एग्ज़ाम्स देने में, मुझे बिल्कुल भी डर नहीं लगा। मैंने कॉन्फिडेंटली सारे एग्ज़ाम्स अच्छे से दिए।
And moving on now to COVID-19 updates. While India's COVID-19 vaccination drive continues at a high pace and more than 2.91 crore vaccine doses have been administered nationwide. A total of 2,91,92,547 vaccine doses have been given. Over 9,74,000 doses have been administered on Saturday. And in some other news now, the bronze sculptors of Bankura district in Bengal are facing severe financial problems post the lockdown. They say the prices of raw material and coal have increased and running their business has become tough. Now, according to these sculptors, they get financial assistance from the government, but that is not enough.
सबसे ज़्यादा दिक्कत है, पीतल का भाव ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बढ़ गया। आज से 3 महीना पहले 330 रुपया था, अभी 450 रुपया हो गया। हम लोग काम अभी बंद कर दिया है। ये हम लोग के लिए बहुत परेशानी का बात है, पर बहुत हम लोग को समस्या हो गया है। और ये भी एक बात है, पहले 3 महीने पहले था वो जो कोयला हम लोग जिसमें वो भट्टी करता है, भट्टी के अंदर वो जो पीतल हम लोग पिघलता है, उसके बाद वो जो ढोकरा का सामान हम लोग आग में देता है, वो जो कोयला हम लोग खरीदता है, पहले था कुंटल 1000 रुपये, अभी 1400 रुपये हो गया। वो 400 रुपया बढ़ा, वो भी ठीक है, लेकिन पीतल का भाव ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बढ़ गया, ये हम लोग बहुत परेशान में पड़ गए।
मदद हो जाते हैं लेकिन सरकार तो ज़्यादा नहीं देते ना। मेरा इतना खाने के लिए इतना लगेगा तो इतना दे रहा है, उसमें तो मेरा पेट नहीं भरता ना।
अभी दिक्कत है, मेटल का बहुत ज़्यादा दाम बढ़ गया ना, इसीलिए बहुत दिक्कत हो रहा है। मेटल का दाम बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया, कोयला बहुत दाम हो गया, इसीलिए दिक्कत हो रहा है शिल्पी के लिए।
In Jammu and Kashmir, the Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, the Chairman Shri Amarnath Shrine Board, presided over the 40th board meeting held at the Raj Bhavan in Jammu on Saturday. The board, keeping in view the foremost concern of the safety and security of the pilgrims, decided that 56 days yatra to commence from 28th of June simultaneously along both the Baltal and the Chandanwadi routes. The board was also informed that this year's yatra will be held as per COVID-19 protocols developed by the government. The daily route wise yatri ceiling enhanced from 7,500 per day per route to 10,000 per day per route, excluding the heli passengers. The Lieutenant Governor has also directed for upgradation of the healthcare facilities on both the routes and be equipped with top-of-the-line medical equipment, augmented manpower. The board will enable the live telecast of morning and evening aarti for the devotees across the globe, and a battery-operated cars to ferry the pilgrims from Baltal to Domail. The telecom services at the Holy Cave and along the routes to be operational by 15th of June. And let's now shift focus, get you all the updates on COVID-19 from across the world. And so far, over 12 crore people have contracted COVID-19 globally, while the tally of recovery stand at over 9 crore 65 lakh. COVID-19 has claimed over 26 lakh 59,000 lives worldwide. The US still continues to remain the worst affected from COVID-19, where more than 3 crore 43,000 cases of COVID-19 have been reported. The country's fatalities have crossed 5 lakh 46,000. And in Italy, shops, restaurants and schools will be closed across most of Italy on Monday, with the Prime Minister warning of a new wave of COVID-19 outbreak. For 3 days over the Easter, that's the 3rd to the 5th of April, there will be a total shutdown. The residents in Italy's red zone regions will be required to stay home except for work, health or other essential reasons. Italy, which 1 year ago imposed one of the first national lockdowns, is once again struggling to contain the rapid spread of the infections. The country has reported more than 100,000 COVID-related deaths. That's the Europe's second highest tally after the UK. Now, Italy's vaccination campaign has been hit by delays, as has been seen elsewhere in European Union. Now, the soccer fans attending the Russian Premier League match between Zenit and Akhmat Grozny in St. Petersburg were offered an unusual pre-game treat. The fans were offered Russia's Sputnik V vaccine against COVID-19, and at least 20 fans were vaccinated before the game. While the service was available for 2 hours before and after the game, so that the number could have risen. Several thousand people attended the match in the 68,000-seat stadium. And the COVID-19 restrictions prevent the stadiums operating at full capacity. And in more updates from around the world, an update from Myanmar now, where the acting leader of Myanmar's parallel civil government, Mahan Win Khaing Than, addressed the public for the first time on Saturday from hiding and vowed to pursue a revolution to overturn the junta. The civilian government was appointed by ousted lawmakers in the wake of the 1st February military coup. And calling the coup the darkest period for the country, the leader ensured that he will put all the efforts to protect the citizens in this revolution. And as per reports, at least 12 protesters were killed and several other injured in police firing on Saturday during anti-coup protests, which continued unabatedly even on the 42nd consecutive day in Myanmar. More than 70 people have been killed and over 2,000 arrested since the protests erupted after the military takeover of the government in Myanmar on the 1st of February, deposing the civilian leader, the state councillor Aung San Suu Kyi. And in more updates now, 2 NASA astronauts floated out the International Space Station on Saturday to conduct the systems upgrades to the orbital outpost. The Expedition 64 flight engineers Victor Glover and Michael Hopkins switched their spacesuits to battery power and embarked on this spacewalk that is expected to last approximately 6.5 hours. The duo will replace a wireless antenna assembly on the state's Unity module and route cables to provide the Ethernet capabilities for the 2 of the state's high-definition cameras, amongst other tasks, according to NASA. Glover and Hopkins arrived on the space station in November as part of the NASA SpaceX Crew 1 mission, and this will be Glover's 4th spacewalk and the 5th for Hopkins. The spacewalk conducted is the 237th spacewalk overall in support of the space station. And moving on now to sports news, well, the Indian team's white ball stars will be aiming to put up an improved batting effort in the second T20 International against England in Ahmedabad today. Now, this series is like a dress rehearsal for the T20 World Cup, but India need to sort out the game plan soon. Otherwise, the Three Lions might just run away with the series.
India take on England in the second T20 of the 5-match series on Sunday in Ahmedabad. England romped to a comprehensive victory in the first T20, doing so with 8 wickets and 27 balls to spare. Winning the toss and electing to bowl fast, the visitors were relentless on the field and with the bat as well. England seemed to have got their team selection and tactics spot on. With the exception of Shreyas Iyer, none of the Indian batsmen stayed long enough at the crease to make an impact. Their final total of 124 for 7 was never going to be enough against the power-packed English lineup. The England openers came out with all guns blazing, racing to 50 for nil after the power play overs to effectively end the game as a contest. While a lot of focus was on India's slightly inexperienced bowling lineup, it was their batting that let them down in the first T20. Virat Kohli will need to get back into form before the important international fixtures this year, while KL Rahul and Hardik Pandya need to get over their rustiness. India have been pretty good at making comebacks and they look to come back strongly in the second game and restore parity in the series. It should be another great day for playing cricket with no rain interruptions expected. The wicket is a pretty balanced one, which was evident in how it played during the second innings of the first game.
Sports Desk, TD India.
And in more sports news, well, Lee Westwood produces flawless golf for the second-day run-in to extend the overnight lead and set up another final round tussle with Bryson. Lee Westwood shot a blemish-free 4 under 68 to hold off the chasing pack and take a 2-shot lead over Bryson into the final round of the Players' Championship. On a hugely eventful day at Sawgrass, Westwood doubled his overnight one-shot advantage and set up a repeat of his final round battle with Bryson from last week's Arnold Palmer Invitational. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. Thanks for being with us.